Good evening. This is the 22nd of good night actually. This is the 22nd of January 2020, and I was just gonna post continuation of my review of what are you looking at? What you're looking at? This War of Mine. This War of Mine, the board game. I'm gonna continue with my review of it. I'll give you my initial thoughts and my and the component overview on video number 1. I'd played it approximately 3 times then. I've played it 10 more times now. I've played this thing 13 times. So I've got over a dozen plays in. I think that we can go ahead and I can give you a little bit of gameplay, how the gameplay goes. A review on that, on the gameplay. Well, it lists as 1 to 6 players. It is a solo game at its heart, in my opinion. You got a journal here. The journal, which I've already said I didn't really like. These are the miniatures of characters in the game. Very cool. In case you're not familiar, the game represents a house of civilians in a Central European city under siege because there's rebels within, and you're not playing rebels, you're just playing civilians trying to get through to the end of the cessation of hostilities. This has been going on for a year already when the game starts out. So the siege has happened a year. You're already a bit hungry, and that's where you go from. This is essentially the rule book. The rule book tells you, and the reason I say it's essentially a solo game, you're not making decisions for one character. It is a 1 to 6 player game, but as a not competitive, there is no competitive mode. As a cooperative game, what you're going to do is be making decisions together. You're not going to be making decisions for a single character. You're going to be making decisions. The idea of it is the leader has this book, and the leader tells you what you're supposed to be doing. You're not supposed to have this book, just the leader. And scavenging is going to tell you when to go to the next player. You'll prepare the unknown deck and explore, and then after each card resolved, next player. So the players will resolve cards. It can work as a cooperative game. With the problem is that you get a couple of 1 or more alpha players, and it's going to be people are going to feel like they're not making meaningful decisions. But it can be, in my opinion, a good multiplayer experience. It just has so many openings to be not that good of a multiplayer experience, just because of people with strong personalities. And I play with people I have a strong personality myself. Can kind of take over the game if they're not watching themselves. So it's essentially a solo game, and I think that on Board Game Geek the complexity level is way off. It's 3.16, I believe. I checked today. It's not that complex of a game. I would say a 2.25 at the most. Problem is, it's very procedural, as most games that have that solitaire type mechanics at their heart are. Very procedural. But it's not difficult. You just have to, follow the procedure, which, I'm a war gamer from way back, so no, I don't have any problem. And what you're trying to do is go day by day. So you're gonna go. It's going to be like this here. Remove these guys. I don't really have them there represent nothing. Just there's the setup. The setup kind of weird, but after 4 or 5 plays, you start getting it down. It becomes much easier. Setup not bad at all. You're gonna go through a morning. You're gonna go through your day act. The morning's just basically finding what your if you've made your objective, what the event of the day is gonna be. You're gonna be drawing from decks mostly. All these here, where this is, all these are going to be decks. You'll be drawing from decks mostly. A lot of other solitaire games do stuff similar, but so your day actions, you're gonna, be able to explore your surroundings for things. You might find food. You might find you may be building a a purifying system. You may be building a radio. You may be building a gunsmithing shop to repair guns or make weapons. But that's your day actions. You're going through your dust actions. This is where you're going to need to eat. You're going to need to eat food and water. If not, your hunger level is going to go up. And your hunger level, what I mean by that, you got these levels, all these levels. If you see something like this, if you were on a 1 hunger level, nothing else, you would have 3 actions. But you go up to 2, that takes an action away. You only have 2 actions. So when you start seeing an action gone, you can understand. But typically you'll get 3 actions or 2 or whatever it is. You don't want these levels to get to 4, because once you do, that ends the game for that character. Whether it's dies or it's 4 different goes there. Whether it dies or runs away or whatever, commits suicide. That happens quite a bit. But yeah, so you can take your day actions. You do what you want to do. Dusk, you eat. Evening, you sleep. You're on guard duty, because more than likely you're going to get raided every night. Maybe not. It might work out good. So while you're getting raided, you need to have somebody on guard duty, or multiple people on guard duty to fight them off. Then someone or a group of people go scavenging. They're looking for things, and you've got different locations. Typically 3 locations: close, distant, or far. Here's some of the locations. Here's an abandoned cottage, old town, like a garage, a sniper junction. That's not good. You don't want to be in sniper junction. Where it's church, there is an abandoned military outpost is what it's called, not a base. Military outpost where you can find a pistol, you can find a broken assault rifle, you can find some good stuff there. And weapons come in. You might need a weapon to guard duty. You need a weapon because here you make too much noise. Your noise level goes up. Make too much noise, it can trigger combat. And combat is not good if you don't. It's kind of random. It's kind of random who you're drawing. What weapons they have is sort of random. So yeah. So that's the problem you have scavenging. You're trying to find food, water, weapons, ammunition, alcohol, anything like that. And then the night raid, that happens simultaneously with the scavenging. While the scavenging party's gone, a night raid can and a lot of times does occur. So that's where you get wounded. That's where, and combat is, I said it before, combat is done with specialty dust. It's fine. Like I said, the gray is if you're unarmed, the yellow with a bladed weapon, and the red with the firearm, or shotgun, pistol, or assault rifle, whatever. I just think I would rather had a CRT there. And then dawn. Then you go back to day. Well, so what do I think about the gameplay? I think most of my fears of the game was alleviated. This is a book of scripts. You're going to be asked to draw as you would in a game like Ambush or any other narrative-driven game. You're going to be told to turn to, for instance, let's see, 602, for instance, and it's going to give you something like It's going to tell you. A lot of times it's bad. Not all the time. Sometimes it's good, relatively good things. I was worried that the game wouldn't be that enjoyable because of things that hurt, but no, it's an enjoyable experience. It's an enjoyable experience. It's fun. I haven't beat the game yet, but each time I play, I learn a little bit more of how to go through it. And again, it's got that solitaire feel, so it's kind of like a puzzle. But it's decent mechanics. Very solitaire-ish gameplay. A lot of drawing. Your characters are going to mean a lot too. Your characters are going to have specialties. This would be an example of. You see that? Sveta, her empathy's a 9. That's not good. Her inventory, that's how much she can carry at 2. That's not good either. That empathy being a 9, if she has to rob somebody for something, other civilians for something, or kill somebody or something, she's going to get depressed badly. Marine, he's empathy of 5. He carries a little more. There's a lot. She's got an empathy of 8. She can carry 4. And some of these people have specialties that they can do things. And there's 12 characters in the base game. All of them are represented by a different miniature. So you can, no matter who you're playing, you got a miniature there. I might have liked some of the miniatures for some of the NPCs, actually. But that's just me. I would also, I don't kickstart a lot of things. I would have liked to have kickstarted this because I would like to got the expansion, the tactics expansion that came with some of the kickstarted ones, because the tactical combat, I think would have made this a much more of an interesting game than just have that kind of abstract combat. Although combat isn't the focus, it's going to happen once around in some way, shape, or form. It's not combat driven, but there is going to be some combat. So I think it's a decent game thus far. I think that it's enjoyable. It's a better solo experience than I had expected. But it's really a great solo experience. And it tells a pretty good story. And I do think it does a decent job of giving you a feeling of being a civilian in and I've talked to several civilians in war zones. Gives you some of the things it's not really a simulation where it's things that always happen to civilians in war zones, but it's a lot of things that can happen to civilians in war zones, and many times do. In this book of scripts, I have, it's probably a compilation of everything that happens to civilians in a war zone. So, one night my house got shelled, and the guy on guard duty got killed. Another time, military soldiers caught me running through, scavenging through something, and just told me to get out of there. It's good to have weapons. It's good to have weapons to be on guard duty or scavenging, just because anything can happen and you need to defend yourself. And so, but weapons are hard to find and hard to scrape up. So you can't do it all. So it gives you that kind of element of, I have to do something, but I can't do everything I want. So it gives you that how do I want to say it? Resource management type of a game. Again, and it has that push your luck mechanic. How much noise are you going to make? Your noise levels go up. You might have to roll for noise. So it gives you a push of luck element. So thus far I think it's pretty decent. It's a $50 base game. I say it's probably worth your money because there seems to be a lot of replayability in it. I've played it 13 times, and I'm probably going to look to play it 13 more before I give you my final evaluation. But it does seem that $50 isn't that bad for it. So I'll at least have one more review of it, my final evaluation and final analysis, and I will might have a go through the sequence of play and video. But yeah, I'm just trying to spend some time with this game because I think it deserves it. So, all right, y'all have a great day. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.